everybody, welcome back for another video today. Today is going to be a little bit of a tutorial that's not going to take place here. It's going to take place at my kind of heavy-duty industrial cutter. I posted a photo of this on Instagram. I did some more little doodles. That was the little tutorial I did, and I just kind of made some more little birdies and gave them attitude. But I'm in the process of setting up the travel journal that I talked about in yesterday's video. And I think I'm going to put it in here. This is my Tokyo Station Traveler's Notebook, the brown with the gold embossing. And I do have the Tokyo charm. But what I want to do is I want to pull this insert out because what I'm planning on doing is, in this tutorial today, of course with little Miss Lila's approval, because, you know, I mean, I can't go anywhere without her having the approval. A lot of people wanted to see how I cut down a large book like this. I have an A5 dot grid. This is a Midori MD notebook with the grid. And I'm also going to cut down one of these. This is a Midori MD, and it's from the 3-pack. They call it the MD Notebook Light A5 Blank. And you can get these, you can actually get both of these. Blank, like this. You can get them both with grid, and you can even get them with a dot grid. That's something new that Midori is doing. This right here is an old Pan Am grid notebook where I've got just some random stuff in. You can see here's little Miss Lila, and honey baby girl here. Let's get you out of the way. There we go. So I like to have this so I can have a guide, but Traveler's Notebooks are 11 by 21, which is roughly 4.33 wide by 8.25 tall. Now an A, and that is the width of the A4 paper, of course, which if you were to like look at a normal piece of paper, that would be the width, and this is the height. But when we fold them in half, what we end up is actually here. This is an A4 piece of paper. So you can see just how small, how much smaller it is. Here, wait, let me get this out of the way. Now they're the same width, but you can see how much shorter that it is. And this will be cut off from both sides because I will do it. So actually that'll show you about how much will get cut off. Now, if you don't have an industrial cutter like I do, what you can do is take a Traveler's Notebook insert, get a pencil out, draw a line, and then you can use like a rotary cutter, you can use a box cutter, you can use an X-Acto knife, and what I recommend using is a metal ruler with a cork on the bottom to help it stay in contact and not sliding around on the paper. Or there's a Tim Holtz ruler. Let me get those. So here's the ruler. This is just a Westcott ruler that I got at Michael's of all places. So what you would do is you would draw your line here, and I can do it since I'm going to cut that off. I'll just get a pencil. Here's a little pencil. what I want to make sure is that I have this and see how there's a line, and then what you would do is you would use your ruler and slice, slice, slice. I'm not going to slice because I don't have a cutting mat down. And then take your time and go slow. And you could also do that exact same thing with the bound notebook. Now this will take a lot more time just because it's, you know, the number of pages. These have, I think, like 64 pages in it, while this one has 176. So it's, you know, like 3 of these is like one of those. But you can see I've done that with this one. So you can see how much I would cut off. But just so you remember that it's 11 by 8 1/4. Or if you don't have a ruler with the cork, this just helps to keep it so it doesn't slip, so you can get like a good grip on it. This ruler by Tim Holtz, you can see, has a metal guide, and it's basically the same thing as having a metal ruler. And what you would do is you would line it up and do the exact same thing. But with this one, you have to be careful because it slips because it's plastic. So you really have to have a good pressure when you're cutting. And also just make sure your fingers are out of the way when you're cutting. Now, what we're gonna do is, oh, and just so you can see, here, well, it's just slightly more than 4 1/4. And then here, actually this one will be able to easier to see. It's 8 1/4. Let me see, 8 1/4. So we're gonna move the camera over to the paper cutter so we can get a look at how I cut my notebooks down. I've only done it to big notebooks like this. I've only done it to, I think, 2 for myself, to the standard size. And then I cut down for Burgess Taylor. I cut down, I think it was it was a Breeze, a Taroko Shop Breeze. I cut down from A5 to B6. But I'm loving the standard size, and I want to use standard size for my travel journal, my places I want to travel journal, and I'm going to have this with me at the cutter as a guide. So let's move to the cutter. Okay, so here we are with my paper cutter. I've had this, oh goodness, since about 2015, since I started really making my own inserts. Before I started Midori Designs in 2016, you know, I was experimenting and trying lots of different ways that I could make my inserts better. I think Kitty sees another kitty outside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move you up just a little bit. So this right here is the blade. I'm not touching it. It's covered. There's a protector there. This is, there's a little guide that comes down and holds the notebook in place, and that's what this crank is for. This is to determine the width or length of your paper. This is the release for the, and I don't think that's on the screen. There we are. This right here is the release for the paper cutter, and that's it going down. Now I have it in place, and what I want to show you is you'll see that there's a ruler here. There's inches, and then there's centimeters, and then millimeters. And they've got like different markings here. Like they say B6 is 128 by 182, and B7 is 91 by 128. This is like what you would call an A5 narrow, and you'll see that it is 11. So what I tend to do, if I know that I have an insert that I want to use, that I want to copy the width off of, I will put it here and tighten that. Now I'll lift up that, which automatically locks, and now I have it set, you can see, actually at 11. I'll zoom in so you can see that. So that's at 11 now. Here is the insert that I marked. What I'm going to do is slide it in, and I'm going to press it up as far as I can, and then I'm going to crank to turn down the presser foot. Then I'm going to, it's really hard to do with the camera, I'm going to bring this forward, and I do need to get my blade sharpened because I haven't really used this much this year. Pull that down. Now you'll see what we have here. Ta-da! You can see where my line was, and I release it, and we have a insert which is the same size as the Midori, and I'll show you this at the table when we get done. Now, this paper cutter I got from the hardwarefactorystore.com. hardwarefactorystore.com. You can also sometimes get them at Amazon and a few other places. This is the slightly smaller one. They do have a larger one. But what I'm going to do is, since we have it set up, I'm going to, that's the binding. We're going to, there we go. Make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure this is tight. Now this can actually cut through a very thick phone book, like about a 3-inch or so phone book. And it actually does better with thicker things than it does with thinner items. So let's do what we did before. Okay. Now we've got it locked, so I can pull apart all of this, and then you have scrapbook paper. I'll set that aside. And look, we got a nice clean line. Now I know not everybody is going to have one of these, but they do have something very similar to this. If you go to, say, a Office Depot or a Staples, or one of those copy spots in an office supply store, they have fancy things like this. They even have fancier ones that are like electronic, that you don't have to hand crank it like I do. So let's go back to the table. So you can see what all I did. So I didn't have to cut any off of the top or the bottom because it is the correct 8.25. All I had to do was cut off from the opening of the notebook in order to make it the correct width, 4.33, or roughly 11 centimeters. So let's take a look. So here's the small little insert. I grabbed one too many. This goes with the big book. But here we are. You can see, let me turn this the right way. It is just slightly more than, I can line it up, 4.25. So it's about 4.33. It's in between the little marks right here, which is, here, let me put the white underneath it so you can see. It's exactly where it is here. So all I had to cut off was this little bit right here. And so now I have a little bit of cardstock, which I can turn into a bookmark if I need to from the cover. And then I have little strips that I can use any way if I want to do a tip-in, or if I want to do like I want to test a supply, like say I get a new marker and I want to see if it's going to bleed through. I can use this to test it. Or if I make a mistake, I can take a piece of this and glue it down into place, or tape it over, or, you know, I just have all of these extra little pieces now that I will have on hand if, say, I need a little patch. And then you have a pointed corner, but what you can do is you can decide to, if you want to round them, you can round them. If not, you know, that's cool. So since I wanted a new blank insert, and I didn't want to have to go buy a Midori MD insert or a Traveler's Factory one, I have one with a cream color and not a craft, and I can just, that way I can do whatever I want to the cover. If I want to paint on the cover, I can. If I want to use stickers and stuff like that. And look, there it is. Perfect. So there's my traveler's notebook for my journaling, for my, where I want to travel journal. And here is, let me set those in a good safe spot. Now here is the large MD notebook. I mean, look how clean. That did such a beautiful job. And again, you'll see that it's the exact same width because I didn't change anything. See? There we go. It's the same width as this, which is the same width as my previous insert. And same idea. I have the back cover. I got the front cover with the MD. And then with this one, I have all of this grid paper. And I do have the little thing in the back that says MD 176A5. I sometimes will cut that out and glue it back here, so that way I know how much I have in there. But it's a, you know, if you have a heavy duty paper trimmer, it is a very, very, very easy job. But if you don't, you know, you could use your ruler with the metal edge, but this is just one of those little slice tools. But say I was using it, I have my ruler here, and I would just boop, 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 and just slow cuts. And that's all you really need to do. But I think if you want to have a very clean edge like this, and you don't have a paper cutter like the one that I have, I really suggest taking it to Office Depot or Staples or any of those type of office supply stores where they you know, cut down things for you, but be very clear about how you want it cut, because I've heard of horror stories, and if you only have one MD like this, like I had, you know, I would hate for it to be too narrow. If it's too wide, you can always trim some off, but if they get it too narrow, then that can be a tricky thing to you know, have to deal with. So that's how I cut down my notebooks now. It's like you saw, it was just like, you know, set the guide, open it, put the notebook in, crank it down, and just pull a lever. It's so quick. Those machines are kind of pricey. They're over $100. So unless you're going to be making, you know, hundreds of inserts, I don't think it's that necessary. But I wanted to show you what I have inside of my notebook. I have a craft folder, which I'm going to have fun decorating. This one has no pen loop. It has nothing like that, because I'm not going to use a pen loop. I've got some Traveler's Factory stuff in here, like this Have a Nice Trip, Traveler's Factory. I got this fun card from Traveler's Factory. This one says Midori.Japan. This is from one of the first, it says Midori down there, from one of the first Traveler's notebooks I got. One of the standard size ones, so I'm gonna put this in my journal. This was when the miscellaneous shop in Amsterdam had the Traveler's Factory pop-up shop. That was, I didn't get to go, it was in 2015, but they had a lot of items on sale, and I've placed quite a few orders with the shop, the miscellaneous shop, over the years, and yeah, that's one place I want to go. I want to visit the miscellaneous shop in Amsterdam, for sure. What else do I have? I've got a couple of the Traveler's Factory postcards. I've got this one that says, Have a Nice Trip, and it's a suitcase with a bunch of stickers on it. And this one is just a nice globe. So I've got those in here. So these are just some fun little items that I might put in a travel insert, or not, I don't know. And then I have some of the Midori stickers. I've never used these. I used the green and the blue numbered ones one year. But I'm not much of a tab person. That's what I've learned over the years. I'm not a tab person. I've got some of their circle dots with the birthdays and the music and the different colors. I wonder if there's a significance for the colors. And then this is like the alphabet, like the rub-on alphabet stickers, which I've had, but I've never used. So I thought I might want to use them in a travel journal, you know, to like put a title on a page or spell out a city or a place. And then that insert that you just saw me cut down, I might round the corners, I might not. I haven't decided. I probably will, because I mean, that's such a nice look, the rounded corners. Yeah. And then I have a zipper pouch with the 5th edition, anniversary edition of the little clips. And you see how there's like an anchor, a star, and that. You can use these as a stencil for the star or for an anchor, or this one that will fit right above the numbers on the undated calendar. And you've got like smaller ones as well, and these little these squares for like little tasks. So look, those are all your little bullet journal-y things. What else do I have in here? Some Post-its. A photo I took of a butterfly. An old PR sticker code. Ah, the blue box bath. I was using some of Brooke's wonderful hand lotion the other day. It's so necessary in this panorama time with, you know, having to hand sanitize so much. And then I have in here just some elastics and jump bands. And then my Train Edition writing board. So that's going to be my, where I plan to travel journal. So if you have any questions, you know, please leave a comment down below and I will get back with you as soon as I can. But I just thought I'd share a quick little video, and I hope it's quick, of how I cut down my inserts so they will be standard size. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.